when England toured India in 1976, I think, under Tony Greig's captaincy. They played a test match at Eden Gardens. That's where I come from, Calcutta. And I met Ken Barrington. My dad was in the administration of the Cricket Association of Bengal. So I'd gone to see the test match at Eden Gardens, and I was right inside the ground in the morning of the test match and met Tony Greig, Ken Barrington. That's the first thing I remember about the game. Football was my first sport. I come from a city which is a football-oriented city. You know, people play a lot of football, they still do. So as a young boy, my first sport was kicking a football. Sunil Gavaskar was one. Kapil Dev was one. I enjoyed watching David Garver bat, myself being a left-hander. I think these three. I was someone who could bowl, but obviously the main part of my game was my batting, and that's what I wanted to do, be a batsman who could bowl a bit. Toughest team was probably Australia. You know, we played in a period where Australia were at their best under Steve Waugh during that era. They came to India in 2001 when I was captain, and that was the only place Steve Waugh hadn't won a test match, test series. And we were one down in the series and then went on to win 2-1. That was probably the toughest phase of the career, the toughest team we've played, and obviously Indian cricket changed after that. I think it's going to be a close fight between Wasim Akram and Glenn McGrath. Wasim was an absolute magician, you know, born up on the wickets in Pakistan and in the subcontinent on those flat decks where there's not much help for the bowlers. You know, he mastered the art of swing, of pace. He was quick. Looking at the conditions in which Wasim played, I think Wasim will probably be the best. Probably Eden Gardens the best because that's my home ground. The entire journey of 15 years for India was an experience. It was the best part of my life, really, to be honest. When I was a young boy, if anybody would have told you would have played 40-odd test matches for India, I would have said you must be joking. And then going on to play 100 test matches is something special. I think both have their place in cricket. Obviously, test matches is the real test. That's where the real skill and quality comes of a batsman and a bowler and a team as well. So I would prefer test matches, but T20 is the one people come and watch. It's the one which generates revenues, so that'll be here as well. Technology is important, but umpires should be given the authority. Yeah, if they feel they're making any mistakes, they might go back to the technology, but they should be allowed to make the decision. That's the best bit of sport, you know. That's what makes the game interesting, and it should not be taken away from umpires. It's between either Sachin or Lara. Probably Sachin. No, not at all. 100 test matches, 300 one-day games, captained India for 200 games, so I don't see any regrets at all. Probably as a young boy, seen the amount of admiration the cricketers have in India, and being from a family where everybody was involved in the game, obviously got to know the game very early, in my early days, and obviously got into the sport. It's just something I enjoy and I love. This game's going to go on and keep getting better as time goes on.
Competitive individual, wasn't he, Sourav Ganguly? Well, you first came across him on an A tour, is that right?
Yeah, 1992 in India. I was lucky enough to be selected for England A, as they were called there, not the Lions. And we went out to India. Then was Ganguly and Dravid both playing in this, and you could just tell there that they were both going to